Let me know when we're good, Ty.
Yeah, we're live. Cool.
Okay, great. All right, hello everybody. I'm Mama Sam, and this is Rachel, and this is Justine. And we have a few band members missing today, but together we're Mama Sam and the Jam. We're gonna play a few songs for you. We're really excited to talk to Teressa at about 3:30. So we're gonna start with a song called To the Top. And hopefully this song brings the energy of bringing Teressa Rayford to the top of the mayoral campaign. And you know, this is somewhat of a new song, and we're excited to share it with y'all today. Hope everybody's safe and hanging in there, and we're hoping to bring some light into your life today. So here's To the Top. Can't hold this pencil of sound on my mind. Can't seem to find my way. Echoes in my ears is what I wanna hear. To the corners of our minds and beyond. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Smiles white with crescent moonlight. Twinkle in your light brings me to tears. Wrinkles on my skin, I'm trying to get into the corners of our minds and beyond. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Take me up to the top. I don't want it to stop, no. Take me up to the top. I don't wanna stop. It's really weird playing to a screen that doesn't have an audience. No, I know there's an audience over there. Next up, we're going to play a song called Backseat. And I think this song is particularly relevant right now because I wrote this song at a time in my life where I felt kind of out of control. And I think we can all relate with that right now, just not being able to like get in the driver's seat and kind of take the wheel. And furthermore, sometimes we don't want to be the driver. Sometimes we just want somebody else to drive, and it's about, you know, that idea. So, backseat. I'm in the backseat of life on this long drive with no one inside. This ain't joy the ride from go with the flow. Yeah, I'm trying to go with the flow. I'll be in the backseat, I'm driving. I wanna watch the scenes go by. Don't wanna drive, sleep on a steep mountainside. I'm just along for this ride of a lifetime. And sometimes I get the guts to tell you that I want out. Yeah, I'm trying to go with the flow. Yeah, I'm trying to go with the flow. In the backseat. In the backseat, in the backseat, in the backseat. I'm backseat of life. Don't drive with no end inside. This ain't no ride. I'm in the backseat again, in the middle of your roller coaster. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't drive with no end inside. This ain't no ride. I'm in the backseat again, in the middle of your roller coaster. In the backseat, in the backseat, in the backseat, in the backseat. I'm in the driver's seat now. Woo! That song always brings me so much joy to sing. It feels good to sing out the hard things. I'm gonna tune up here. Up next, we're gonna do a brand spanking new song. It's called Misty Mountain Snow Globe. And I recently went up to Bagby for the first time. I had never been to Hot Springs before. And it ended up snowing, and it was an absolutely magical, misty mountain snow globe. And this song was kind of meant to kind of capture the energy of that. It was really a beautiful experience, and I love writing songs about just kind of like a feeling. It's often not too literal. I like to write songs that can hopefully capture kind of like some sort of feeling. So I hope that you enjoy this new one. In the misty mountain snow globe, where the water comes to flow, and my feelings come and go when wind begins to blow. Ooh. Come over here, my baby. Moon is on our side tonight, and this feeling has me reeling. And this feeling has me reeling. In the misty mountain snow glow, your heart falls open, this I know. When the wind begins to blow, something comes that feels like home. Ooh. Come over here, my baby. The stars are on my side tonight, and this feeling has me reeling. And this feeling has me reeling. Shake me up and put me down. 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 In the misty mountain snow, leave your body and your mind in a place where you can find it. Stay until the end of time. Ooh. Come over here, my baby. The world is on outside tonight, and this feeling has me reeling. And this feeling has me reeling. Shake me up and put me down. 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 Shake me up, this feeling has me. Shake me up, this feeling has me. Shake me up, feeling has me. Shake me up, this feeling has me. I hope everybody's doing great over there, out there, wherever you are. I know we have some family logging in from all over. So hello to all of our family and friends. Thanks for joining us today. What time is it? Take a peek. Looks like we still have some time. Is that right, Ted? I can keep playing some tunes here. I don't know if you're talking or not, but I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. So we still have some time. It's 3:18. We did get a question in the chat though, so maybe we can answer that. I thought it was pretty awesome. So Mark said, I'm digging the way strong female voices are supporting and amplifying each other on this webcast. Would you speak to how that ethic will look in real life and the body politic going forward? Thank you for that question, Mark. That was awesome.
Cool. Can you say that one more time so I make sure I really hear it?
I'm digging the way strong female voices are supporting and amplifying each other on this webcast. Would you speak to how that ethic will look in real life and the body politic going forward? And I feel like you already, you have a lot to say with women leading the way and blazing the trail.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot to say about that. I mean, thank you for that question and for your compliment. Women, all of us have been raised in a patriarchal society, which I think tells different genders a lot of things that are not true. And as far as it comes to when it comes to women, we've been told, I grew up being told I would, that I could be catty or that competitive and I guess it's just really not true. Like the older I've gotten and the more empowered women that I've surrounded myself with, I've been on my own journey of empowerment and building up my own confidence in my body and in my intelligence, in my learning, in my practices of whatever, I play music, but I also own 2 businesses. I'm a mother as well. And I think more than ever, it's an amazing time for voices that resonate with each other to be unified and to come together to lift each other up. And I'm speaking more generally because I'm raising a son and I think about how the patriarchy has affected men as well, and like men not being allowed to show emotion or to cry or to have, show pain or discomfort, or even in the way that especially in heterosexual couples, in the way that men are supposed to interact with women and vice versa. Like it's just time for, I think, all of us to really challenge gender norms and to uplift each other as much as possible. One of my companies is Tokativity, which is the global feminist community for active cannabis culture. Essentially, we organize, we have chapters all around the world that organize women-centric events. And actually right now, there is a Mother's Day online event going on right now that I'll be popping into after this. But, whether we're singing and making our voices heard together, or whether we're talking about hot button issues in politics, like we're going to today with Teressa and getting more women in roles of leadership, it's just more important than ever to really uplift each other around us and listen as much as possible. I feel like I could talk about this all day long because I really care about it. And it's been amazing to watch even just the women who I have in my circle around me, the number of women that were like, because you got up there and sang that song, or because you got up there and said something that you were passionate about, you planted a seed in me to get a little bit more courage to do something that I really want to do. So I think that is what feminism and is what feminism is all about. I mean, at the end of the day, feminism is about the equality of the sexes, and we can't be equal if people's voices are being suppressed. And this goes so much farther, obviously, than just gender. So yeah, that's a cool thought to think on too. I like look forward to reflecting on. I like the way that you worded that question. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that, I was like, oh, what a perfect question, because you're all about female empowerment. So
Yeah, there's a long way to go. I mean,
absolutely.
The truth is, as well, as there's so many women in my community who just have such poor self-esteem. They just don't feel confident in their own skin.
Yeah, and I think we've all come from that place. And I know personally, when I used to feel that way when I was younger, and I still have my days, we all do. But once I started realizing that it was literally the total sum of every cool ass girl I've ever met, I was like, okay, we're all in this together. Like, this is team female, like what, it just removes all the barriers and like self-esteem barriers, really. So
yeah, I mean, I found for me that, like, well, what is it that I really love to do? What makes me feel really good when I do it? And those are the things that I feel confident in. And the more that I tap into those things, this being one of them, I mean, I guess weaving this into a little bit about Mama Sam and the Jam, I've been a musician my entire life and grew up in a musical family, and was in choir and played trumpet and cello and all kinds of different instruments, and then started playing in bands in college. And I started my first, like, a group with two other women called Cartolinas in Chicago. And really it was me and Mandy Work. Hi, Mandy, if you're watching. And we started writing our own music and playing and performing. But after many years of playing music and being a backup singer or, contributing to a band, this Mama Sam, that kind of persona and that music came from my experience managing a school of rock and being around music all the time and being around all these amazing kids. And they started calling me Mama Sam, and it just kind of stuck. And that energy has carried with me of me feeling confident in what I do well. And when I started this band, I really felt very vulnerable to write and kind of compose the songs myself before even bringing them to a band. And so this has been a real challenge for me to put my heart out on a little platter for you guys. But that's a part of my own empowerment journey, and getting empowerment doesn't come without discomfort. It definitely comes with doing something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, but you love it so much that you can break on through. So that's been this project for me, and maybe we can share another song here before Teressa comes on. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Oh, we can't hear you, Ty. But I see your Jen.
Sorry. The last part of it cut out.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We're gonna play another song. How does that?
Okay.
Yeah. What did you hear last, I guess?
I heard you're like, tell me your version of, and then it cut out. You were like asking for my part, but it cut out right before. It's okay. We can follow back up with more discussion.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, we have a lot to talk about. Cool. Okay, and what's the next song?
The next song is called Mockingbird. And this is a really fun song. I was on tour with another female-centric band, Ashley Flynn and the Riveters. Shout out to the Riveters. And we were on tour, and we were hanging out late one night after playing a gig, and we were laughing, and a mockingbird in the trees mimicked us. And we ended up having this back and forth conversation with a mockingbird for like an hour, and it was absolutely hilarious. And this song came out of that experience.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. Thank you for the backstory on that. Now I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Ooh. mockingbird. Through the trees he sang his song to me, so I sang back. Ooh, ooh. I get lonely, don't have no one. Sitting all alone when the day is done. So I sang back. Ooh, ooh. I wonder if he's alone too. Sitting on that branch, feeling blue. So I sang back. Ooh, I sang back. Every time I play that, I think about that silly little bird just sitting there making fun of us. But I really did wonder, like, I was like, I bet he's just alone. He's just looking for a partner, and he found these three pretty ladies sitting here. That's fun. Okay, should we do a song? Let's do that song. Okay. This is Smiling Eyes, which is another new song. And this song I wrote about my family and mom and dad and Gigi and my sisters, Nikki and Byron Nikki and Julie and my brother Byron. If you're watching, I love you. And this song is for you. Mom, oh mama, where did the time go, go, go? It used to go so slow, but now it flies. Pop, oh oh, we laughed into the night, hanging on tight. We used to run right into everything, knowing always come home to your smiling eyes. You always come home to your smiling eyes. Sisters, my sisters, you are the source of light. Whoa, 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 your strength is also mine, making things right. Brothers, my brothers, dig deep, alright. And oh, 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 and open up your door to the light. We used to run right into everything, knowing always come home to your smiling eyes. You can always come home to your smiling eyes. You can always come home to your smiling eyes. Oh, your smiling eyes. Oh, your smiling eyes. Oh, your smiling eyes. Woo! It feels so weird to play that without the full band, with the drums and the bass and everything. It's such a big song, but that's,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's usually the full band?
yeah. So today we're missing Carmen Paradise, who plays the bass,
Okay.
Nick Holtz, who plays the drums, and Mike Weiser, who plays lead guitar.
Okay.
And just because of social distancing and getting it set up to stream, that would have been a pretty big challenge to get the full band mic'd properly. So, but this is the first time that I've seen these ladies since this whole thing, and
Oh, yay!
it feels really good to sing in person. I hope that you can feel the music, as best as you can, I guess.
Yeah, no, like the fact that you're just doing it with your guitar and just in an excellent room, virtually, like we're doing pretty good, I think. Like the sound quality for me is awesome.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
we're here at my business in Southeast Portland at Prism House is the name of this, and it's a community event center. And
Yeah.
we're unfortunately closed down right now, but we look forward to reopening soon, probably more so as a shared workspace.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily an event space until we're able to do that again. But this is one of the only percussive dance floors in the city of Portland. This is a dance studio, but it has really great reverb, and we love singing in here because it sounds so beautiful. And
It really does.
cool. I'm glad that it sounds good for you on that end.
Yeah, thank you. We haven't had any complaints. I mean, I've been looking at the chat, so on my end I can see the YouTube chat, which is where I got that first question. But yeah, everyone is just like amazed at the harmonies. So that was a compliment from Julie Ann Butchler. Butchler.
Claire, that's my sister. Yay!
Oh yeah. She chimed in and said, "Killer harmonies, ladies. 3 hearts, 1 for each of you." Then we got 5 hand claps, 1 for that's for all of us, including you, Amanda. That's awesome. Thank you, Mark, for the detail.
Cool.
Kylie Freeman says they sound real good. Aw, thank you everyone for enjoying and tuning in. Samuel Damari says, "Go Rachel."
Yay!
Are one of you Rachel? I didn't introduce myself. Hi Rachel, I'm Ty. And what was your name? I'm sorry. What is it?
Justine.
Awesome, nice to meet you, Lindsay.
Justine.
Justine, oh my God, I'm sorry, Justine.
It's okay, it is pretty echoey in here too, so.
The music sounds better than our convo. It's funny. So yeah, I was gonna ask another thing before Teressa gets on. So what matters to you in the city of Portland with the primaries coming up? This is the time when a lot of people get politically active. You know, it's okay to kind of hang out on the sidelines and chip in here and there, but this year, you know, election years are very important to really hold on to a cause and see it through and demand accountability for those causes that you vote on, you know, making sure that you see it through and you actually see the results that you voted for.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of things that I care about, but I think I look forward to talking with Teressa. Something that I admire about her and something that I just want to see our politicians paying more attention to is the accountability of the tax dollars that are going into the state. It's just really concerning when you look at education is of course a hot button issue, but for good reason. As somebody who has benefited from the legalization of cannabis, because I work with cannabis businesses a lot of times, I'm really disappointed to see, now 5 years later, to not be seeing the repercussions of those tax dollars in the schools the way that I thought we were going to when we voted on that measure. It's just really disappointing. And I think that, I know it's challenging for governments to manage funds, but I just want to see more accountability. And I'm looking for people, the representatives I'm voting for, that's like something I'm looking for more than anything is like, are they just touching on this subject, or are they like actually kind of creating a plan for accountability? And I think that it's definitely challenging. I care a lot about, for the city of Portland as a small business, and especially with what's going on right now, the resources that are available to us. Portland is known as a small business town, and I'm really grateful for that as a small business owner. And I think that the city of Portland has done a pretty phenomenal job in the past of supporting small businesses and doing their part to advocate for, hi.
Hello, she's fixing up my computer in the other room. Thank you so much for being patient.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
You too, you look beautiful. Ty told me about the break-in. I'm so sorry. I hate that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really disappointed to come today to play music, and our business too, and pretty much everything that was valuable here was taken. So I'm definitely, as I was just saying, like resources for small businesses are really uber important. Like dealing with this public health crisis that we're in right now has absolutely affected me as a small business owner. We've been 100% closed down since the beginning of March. And it's a community center is not a business model that can transition to online. So I just, hope that the city of Portland and our future leaders, here, continue to prioritize small business and fund nonprofits like Venture Portland. Venture Portland is an amazing organization that offers tons of small business resources and grants and, just major support for the 50 business districts that make up our city and that make Portland so unique. It's really important that we learn to pivot right now. I mean, Portland is a big gig economy as well. There's a lot of jobs that, I'm just not sure what's going to happen, but I know that everybody's thinking about this right now, but I look forward to, to hearing some ideas about what can people do? I mean, is the answer just shutting down or are we, do we get crafty and we pivot? And the answer is that. We have to figure out what's next. And, we're innovative. I think Portland is really creative and innovative. And there's amazing people here that are just super creative. And I really look forward to seeing what comes out of this. I was saying before that, the best things kind of come out of hard stuff, doing the hard work results in the most beauty, and I hope that we can see that in the city of Portland for our small businesses and get back up and running hopefully soon.
Well, I grew up in Portland and I didn't even know about big businesses and industry really until I moved to Texas, because the big businesses to us was downtown Portland, right? All the neighborhoods had small businesses, mom and pop shops everywhere. You could walk up and down the street to pick up everything you needed. And it felt like you were out on an adventure. You didn't run errands, you went out for the day. And you came back with everything that you needed, and you could walk if you wanted to, you could ride a bike, you could get on the bus, you could drive, and you'd probably have a carpool because that was the popular thing. And so what I've noticed is that you're right, a lot of that neighborhood connectedness with supporting, small businesses and community-based businesses we're losing it. And I think that it is in the value of our leadership when you're looking at developing a global city, but you think that the global businesses should require more investment than the local businesses that make the city viable for that. You mentioned Venture Portland, and I just took a survey for Architectural Heritage Center, and they were like, what do we do about the city's tourism? It's a mess here, and we already have a lot of, buildings that are dilapidated, that are old, that are losing investment. What do we do? And I'm thinking that a lot of the things that we've been struggling in the rights, in the human rights movements, and the climate justice movements, and the economic justice movements, and the women's rights movements, that what we have to think right now is that we're super duper in pandemic crisis mode. Yeah. And even though we've been struggling and saying all these things about all of these inequities, that right now they're not exaggerated, they're highlighted, right? People are seeing the inequities that we've all stood on the front line saying were effectively stopping us from having the same progress as a man, right, in the world. And so it's what are we going to do to sustain the effort of our federal government and all these entities that find an interest in building stimulus to sustain businesses? How do we hold them accountable to investing in the businesses that were already struggling, that were already, effectively being put in a second class order? How do we stand up for ourselves and hold them accountable? Because what I would think is that the priority of saving small businesses is because small businesses are essential business. It costs less money to employ a couple of people and to pay the overhead in a business that is located in a community than it does for a big old giant corporation. It adds more value into that community because of the accessibility. And when we talk about climate change and things like that, that footprint that's being removed because there's accessible, relationships and networks that have products, services, and fees that are in my community available to me. So that's where I think the emergency crisis investment needs to go, because that's what's sustainable. Right now, you just said mutual aid. All of our community members pulled together to bring mutual aid before we seen anything come from Donald Trump, right? Yeah. People were literally getting active on social media and building spreadsheets to share because our community is that supportive and committed. But when is our city going to show the same commitment with an investment, you know, and don't compete with the interests of the people that are coming up with these innovative ideas. Let's invest in building those ideas out because they have the leadership that's already committed to doing the work. And we know how much work it takes to get where you're trying to go, or even to, you know, articulate an idea. But the fact that, I mean, you know, we're bridging these efforts, and we are still not seen as someone that is not viable for the safety net. And we have to fight for that. People are calling it out, but we have to call it out in unison. Just like when you're playing the music, like we have to make that the thing to speak up and to say it on the record, to contact our legislators. The promotional media that we can do right now. I just got off of a call with some children, like kids from 8 to 23 years old, that are, you know, really upset that they're at home right now. They can't hug their friends. They can't go to school. The Wi-Fi is not giving them enough time to do their assignments and everything. And I'm like, well, now you get to kind of figure out how people protest, because you're at home and you can write letters to your legislators. You can send emails to them and you can complain. I said, just the fact that you're on this call right now with all these senators and legislators and everything else, save this chat and document it and send an opinion editorial out on Snapchat, but make them do the work, because it takes political will. And that's it. We, the people, these people work for us. Be articulate, be clear, show some type of, you know, transparency in what information we're getting. I know that all the small businesses got screwed on that money that came into, you know, into Portland.
Yeah, we've gotten nothing.
I know. I know. And then they pit people against each other to give people nothing so that they can give people on the top that they thought. I'm just going to say, I think that that people are using this as an investment tool for their own benefit and not for the benefit of the small businesses that keep Portland, Portland. Okay. And I think that people that support small businesses need to call that out and need to stand in solidarity with that. That's why I'm running, because I'm tired of protesting these things. I think there should always be transparency in the appropriation and distribution of resources. The fact that it happened without any kind of planning or anything, we know we were in a COVID crisis, but come on, you moved a little fast, leadership, because you could have pulled some people to the table and had a couple of conversations. But he made the plans for us without us, and we knew we were going to get lost out of it, you know? I got people that are like, this is crazy. How does, you know, Roof's, you know, Steakhouse get $20 million, but all these small businesses couldn't even get $5,000?
Yeah, and really, truth be told, like $5,000 would change it would change our life right now as a small business, you know?
Exactly.
A small business who is renting, you know, a commercial space that we're sitting in right now. A small business that has a minimum of 8 women employed, and you know, we have a lot of other people that we work with as well, but our team is of 8 women, and it's just tough. I feel like I don't know what to do other than to reach to write and to make my voice heard about how this doesn't feel right. But I can understand how it's got to be like really challenging for the people who are making the decisions as well. But I'm really tired of you know, big business getting bailed out
Faster. And the thing about it is that, I mean, I used to work for a CPA, so I understand when you own a business, there's a negotiation you get to make with your banks, with your insurance companies and everything. And if you're a huge corporation, you're not worried the same way we are. You know what I'm saying? I have a small business. I had just opened up a campaign office in addition to the 2 buildings that we house our, you know, our legal clinic and stuff in. So I'm feeling you on this, because it's like we provide these services to our community. We bought all of these products and stuff. And I know that you went through something just like way more devastating than I can even think about right now. But yeah, there was no safety net, and there doesn't even seem to be a conversation about it. And one of the things that I'm looking at is like, what is our legal recourse as business owners to say that the city did fail us and that there should be legal recourse? Because when I call my insurance company, they're like, we don't have anything for a pandemic. So
Dang.
there's no recourse there, which at the first time when I heard everybody getting a loan, I was like, I don't need a loan. We're good. We're not in the red. We have our bills paid. I'm just going to contact my insurance company. That doesn't work. They don't have anything for us. So the city has to have something. We have to mandate it. And I don't think that that's hard. It just takes us coming together and saying it on the record to them, you know?
Like I guess I wasn't surprised when I called my insurance company and they said that they didn't have anything for me. But then when I asked if we could just pause the insurance because it's a big empty building right now, there's no one to insure. They said that I could, but there would be a penalty and a fee. I was like, I just have to keep paying for this or I'm gonna get penalized. And you know, I think it's just, it's really interesting as a small business owner and my God, you know, a musician, as musicians and gig workers out there that like rely on small businesses to provide spaces for them to go and connect with people and make a living, you know, this is really challenging. And I think it's going to, you know, require some innovation and loud voices demanding something different. You know, America can't stand on a foundation of being for small businesses if you don't actually, at the end of the day, support small businesses.
That's it. That's that part. I mean, you know, I'm really good friends with Maria Garcia, who owns Revolution Coffee House. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, what are they doing? Are they trying to pit us against each other? Because I found out this group of people and this demographics. And it was like, that's why I said, to me, they've taken our lives and they've created a thing where it's like racketeering, where they're pitting community members against each other based on identities, demographics, and everything else, rather than just making it a free enterprise and looking out for the businesses. In my opinion, if we don't have small businesses, if we don't have businesses, and especially businesses like yours that kick off other people's opportunities to develop businesses, sustains other people's interests and visions for their companies, and helps them build the market for that, then we can't trust them. I mean, like, if that's not the intentional point of the leaders when we sit down with them, and I've sat down at the OCIM meetings, I've sat at so many different legislative and work group meetings and just different conventions and forums, they only come when it's time to vote. You would think that we would have a whole legislative committee that would be looking out for marijuana-based businesses, for businesses that are focused on being accessible for this industry, especially right now. And then I heard on one of our conversations that I had been using the word that it's an essential business. No, they don't literally even want to give you that tag because that might mean a bailout. And it's crazy because the state is operating off of that money. So, I mean, again, when it comes to what we want, and I know that I've done it on the record, when we organize, when we build the strategy to be political and what our ask is, and right now, this is a critical pandemic crisis. It's not like we can look at market research and say, well, what did they do when they had a down, you know, sizing here or whatever? This is a pandemic. This is an actual crisis. Somebody's going to have to pay for everything that we're going through. And if we realize, or if it's an investigation, or if someone ends up doing a lawsuit, everyone's going to end up getting into that class action. So what I would just think and say right now, and I'm listening to these conversations, document everything. Document everything, because everything that's being said to you right now can and will be used to support you, and hold these systems accountable. Because even if they didn't have enough time to plan, when you came to them with the grievance and they knew that there were barriers and they also knew that there were monies being allocated, they shouldn't have put it on the back burner. I talked to someone earlier that works at, I forgot where they work, but it's like a store or whatever, but it's more like storage warehouse stuff. But they were like, yeah, they don't even have us wearing all of the you know, essential devices so that we can be safe in what we're doing, because the mayor hasn't mandated. Like, the city leaders literally can say, hey, everybody that's going to work has to be taken care of. We got to make sure. I mean, you know, like, we want our businesses to open